Joining me now to discuss is Wedbush's Dan Ives. So, Dan, Nvidia's numbers really capped an earnings season where these companies pretty much did everything they were expected to do and more. Recommitting to the AI trade, essentially saying that they're still enthusiastic about it. Why is the market in general not really giving them credit for it?
Look, first, I think that was a masterpiece quarter, right? And I think any worries about the AI bubble thrown out the window in terms of fundamentally when you heard from Godfather of AI, Jensen Nvidia. Look, I think it speaks, and you've talked about a lot on the show, like worries about circular financing, like where this is going to go. Can the data centers going to get built? Is there capacity issues? Look, I just continue to view when you put the pieces together of the puzzle, as well as our 3 weeks in Asia, this is third inning, top of the third, one out of this AI game. And that's why I just think names like Nvidia, days like today, you buy names like Oracle, Microsoft, Nvidia, because I believe this tech bull market has another 2 years left.
I mean, as a baseball numbers guy, we now know sometimes the third inning is your high leverage inning, where you got to kind of bring in the best arms and try to put down a threat. And I'm wondering right now if Nvidia's numbers, and I've been kind of puzzling over this all day, as great as they are and as much confidence as Jensen has about the next 4 or 5 quarters, you wonder if everybody can have equal confidence in the customers that are giving him all that money and allowing him to earn those margins on their spend, and when they're going to sort of get clarity about the payback.
Look, it's a great point, but I would just say, look, in the U.S., 3% of companies have gone down the AI path. Europe, 0. You look at, in Asia, ex-China, minimal, less than 1%. Sovereigns, Middle East, just starting. I mean, my whole point is that, right now, demand to supply is 12-1 for NVIDIA chips. And of course, AMD and others are going to play. But the reality is that we are still early. I mean, you're talking more money is going to be spent in the next 2 to 3 years than the last 8-10 years combined. So I get some of the worries, but I believe the bears will continue to watch this AI party from the outside looking in as they continue to prove it out. And I think streets underestimating numbers anywhere from 15 to 20%.
Right.
Next to 12
but is that
months.
not the bull case for NVIDIA and the whole food chain for the infrastructure build out? Can it not also be the bear case for the Metas of the world and the Microsofts that feel like they're on this unending treadmill of having to spend, hoping that they get the return?
Yeah, and I do think it's a little more than hope, because the reality is that the use cases, if you almost put the pieces together, look at Palantir, look at MongoDB, look at Snowflake. So you see the use cases are exploding. Look, and it's an arms race that they are having to continue to spend on, and you're going to see the same with the Oracle. But I think Meta, we look out 12 to 18 months. This was a table pounder moment, just like we saw with Alphabet as a table pounder.
Well, I was going to get to Alphabet because that's a really fascinating situation, how it's gotten revalued higher, tremendous amount of sponsorship all of a sudden of this name that people really had a lot of skepticism about not that long ago. Now, their new model is getting raves, I guess, in terms of its performance, the new Gemini. And also, they did it, kind of with their own processors. So how does that play into the whole, NVIDIA at the center of this question?
Sure. Well, NVIDIA obviously fueling its centerpiece in terms of one chip in the world, but the reality is Alphabet, you go back 6-8 months ago, New York City cab drivers bearish on it, right? So it's one, AI that is ultimately going to destruct the model. The opposites happen. I mean, I think now you see Sundar and what's happening at Google, they're on the offensive. I mean, you look at what they've done with Gemini, this is just the start, because the reality is in Cupertino for Apple, who are they going in for AI? It's just a matter of time until they do the Google Gemini deal as well.
Yeah.
So that's why you've seen that stock at continue re-rating. Bull case $400. My colleague Scott Devin and I, we've done a lot of work. Look, I believe this is one. This is a name you continue to own, just still early days.
And then when it comes to Apple, because you mentioned it's an arms race, well, they're not really participating, at least in terms of the gross dollars being funneled in that direction.
Yeah, I think yet.
Yeah.
I think now it comes down to, obviously, iPhone 17's been almost a sleeper upgrade cycle, but you have the biggest install base in the world. Monetization is right now on the verge. 2.4 billion iOS devices, 1.5 billion iPhones. The consumer AI revolution will go through Apple and Cook, but it all comes down to Gemini. And now that DOJ, that has cleared, that gives them the opportunity to walk down the aisle and ultimately ink that partnership. We said that's worth $75 to $100 for Apple stock. That's why I continue to view that as just a must-own name here.